Hello everyone, my name is Pajama Gamer and welcome back to a combination of the extra things that you can play on LEGO Star Wars and a bit of my review at the same time. So I am going to start with the little bits of extras that I talked about before. So these are the different areas that you can explore and you can visit. So if let's go to Endor. That might actually be a here we go, Takonda. So if you were to land on Takonda, like so, it will basically, you will land in a small area that you can explore, and there's a few races, characters to buy and unlock. There's a few missions, resistance missions, first order missions, scavenger missions, bounty hunter missions, and then after that there's there's also a couple of like gold bricks things that you can find. So here we go. This is obviously after the destruction of Maz's castle. So if we have a quick look around, this character over here is obviously one of the people that you can buy. Hello. Let's buy you. Okay, so we brought you. And then if you wanted to have a look on your map to find where you can do things, here it is. You press because I'm using the PS4, you press the centre pad. So for instance, let's, yeah, okay. And if you lock onto it, it gives you the ghost studs and lets you find where it needs to go. So for instance, this is a C3PO translation mission, side mission. This is to do with this. If we build that, and let's change to BB-8. Where is it? He's down there. I think. Where is it? Where's BB-8? Oh, it's there. So there we go. So these gold bricks missions are basically just, you've got to do something for someone, you've got to hit so many things, etc, etc. So these are the races. These are things called carbonite bricks. Let me just show you one. All of these are characters. That is a first order mission. You've also got your scavenger mission, which is up here. You've got just like a general kind of side mission, which is up here. And then you've got your resistance ones, which are here. And they label them slightly different so you can tell the difference. So these are all little things to do, as well as all of your side missions. So he up there is, how do I get around? There we go. So that is a carbonite brick. So basically, as it says there, if you go back to the resistance base, there's a little area where you can thaw them out, and there is some of your favourite characters there. For instance, you can get the original Princess Leia, and I think you can get the Princess Leia where she's in the slave girl outfit and things like that. So if you go onto your main bit here and press the triangle, everything that you see on here you can do on the Millennium Falcon, Dakar, Starkiller Base and Jakku. Ones like Endor, however, you'll see it there. That is just basically in order to free play the level. That's why that's very nearly done. Ones like these are separate little side missions that you need to get that many amount of bricks to unlock, which is the same with Garrock. Twan Kitty. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong, but I'm just giving it a good as go as I can. And Arthon. So these are just separate one level side bits that you can unlock, which is the same with if I go on to Star Killer Base. That one, the Star Killer Destruction. So these are all obviously part of the story in Freeplay. That is for you to do like what we did with Endor, and then at the bottom you can see that it tells you how many missions there are and what you've done so far. And then on Jakku, you can actually unlock this one. So as you can see, it's only one level, but it's the same as, it's kind of similar to all the others in the sense that you've got 10 mini kits to find, 1 red brick, and you've still got to get your true Jedi skull. So basically, that is it in regards to the extras that you can unlock and how to get them. Okay, so this bit I'm probably just going to do like I did with Lego Batman and just intercut bits of me playing the game to do the review. So the first part of it, as I've done before, is the plot. Now this is going to be relatively short because a vast majority of you will have either watched the walkthrough, therefore know what the plot is about, or you have seen the film. Oh, what's it called? I'm completely blank there. Force Awakens, that's it. You will have seen the film because the video game is very similar to The Hobbit in the sense that it is pretty much a play-by-play account of the film. There are slight alterations, as there has to be, a bit more obvious in this than in The Hobbit, in the sense that you've always got to have 2 characters, so things slightly change, but it doesn't overly affect the majority of the story. So it is usually, as it is with these things, you've got to go fight bad guys, bad guys keep escaping, in true Star Wars fashion, etc. So what I do like about it, I like the graphics, I like the characters, I think they've all got their own quirks. As I've said before, I like the fact that they've got the voice actors to do little bit extras, so it doesn't just randomly cut to somebody that sounds nothing like them. I like the amount of detail they've put in. I also like the fact that the extras, I mean, I've played through the story and it's a quarter of, just doing story mode has done a quarter of the entire game. So it's not like some of the older games like Lego Batman and The Hobbit, where the free play extras that you need to do is 4 times as long, if not longer, than the main point of the game. So I really like that. I like the fact that I feel you use your characters a lot more, and I mentioned in Lego Hobbit that it kind of got annoying that you would just go from, you could play as one character and then occasionally switch to somebody else, and your characters didn't really get the use out of them. I mean, there's only some where they only appear in short bits like Maz and the Ewoks, but that's because they're not there throughout the entirety of the film anyway, so they're not going to be in the entirety of the game. I can let them off with that. And there is a lot more there's a lot more opportunities for you to use a variety of the characters. So you might have to use Finn and Han and one bit, and then whatever you unlock with that, you then have to use Chewie or Leia to do something else. So you get more of your characters. It's a lot harder for you to stick as one character and flick between the others. So that's another factor I like about it. Another one is you get to play as everybody that you know and love. So you get to play as Darth Vader right at the beginning, which was incredibly exciting for me because not only was I using a lightsaber, but I was also playing as Luke and Darth Vader at the same time, which was just all, like I said in Lego Batman, all of my kiddie, nerdy dreams came true when I did that. So that was absolutely brilliant for me. I like the fact that not only do you get to play as them, but you get to play as Rey, you get to play as Finn, you get to play as Han Solo and Chewie, which is absolutely brilliant. So it literally ticked all of my little nerdy fantasies. And so for that, I absolutely love it. And as I've talked about, I like I mean, I can't not like the story because I like the film. So it would be very difficult for me to go, I really love the film, but I hate the plot of the game. It's very difficult to do that. But I do feel that they've done a lot better doing a scene-by-scene cut with this than they did in The Hobbit. I don't think they did as well in The Hobbit as they've done here. So that's another big bonus and a big boost for me. So is there anything else? No, because I'm pretty much saying I like pretty much all of the game, to be honest. I like the fact that you get to explore some of these worlds, and it's not like a small area that's just probably the size of like 3 rooms or something. You have a large area to explore. It will tell you when you go too far and turn you back round eventually anyway. But I feel that these side quests, things that you do on these planets, are a lot simpler, a lot easier. There's not as many of them. So I don't have that when I played it through with Dan. It did take us a couple of days, but that's because we were only really playing for about an hour at a time due to work and whatever. But if I had a day off, I could quite easily do a vast majority of them. And I wouldn't get bored. I never got bored when I was playing this, which is not something that I had in Lego Batman or Hobbit. There were certain areas where I was just bored. Whereas with Lego Star Wars, none of that. Absolutely brilliant, loved it. And like I said, like the fact that the free play aspects of it don't seem as long and tedious. Even the races, which I know in the Lego Batman one I absolutely hated, in this one they're a lot easier, they're a lot simpler to complete. The controls work better, the graphics work better. It kind of points you where to go. So I wasn't getting overly frustrated with the races. They were a lot, so I wasn't getting bored in areas because just like, oh, for goodness sake, another race. The races were a lot better, and that's another big tick for me. Okay, so moving on. Things that I don't like. Now, there's not a lot of things that I don't like about it. I like, as I've mentioned before, I like the fact that you can use a lot more of the characters, and I also like the fact that a lot of the characters will have similar things. So if you wanted to do one free play level as one person, you can, and then you can quite easily use a different person but use it for the same thing. So anyone who is part of the First Order will be able to access First Order terminals. So you have that freedom. I can, however, see me just using the main bulk, and I know this is probably going to be a issue that I have with all of them, because there is a lot of characters that you unlock along the way, and it's going to be very difficult for them and too big for them to only have that one specific person do one specific thing. So I'm a bit more forgiving with this than I was with, say, Lego Batman, but that's because because you're using more of them. It's not possible like I had with Lego Batman, where Superman could just do pretty much everything. With this, you don't get that. So even though I know I'm not going to play all of these unlockable characters, there is a couple that I will have to use, and they will probably be an area dedicated to them per level. So while I won't use all of them, I know I will use some. So even though it's still a thing that I don't like, I am slightly more forgiving than I have been in particularly some of the other games. The only other thing I can think of is sometimes the camera angles get really, really frustrating. You know, there was a bit in the Millennium Falcon where I was trying to run through a passageway and I couldn't see what was coming towards me because the camera was stuck facing Finn. It wasn't facing behind him so I could see what was coming. It was facing in front of him so I could see everything that was behind him. And every time I tried to turn the camera around, it just wasn't having any of it. I had to go into a wider room, turn the camera around, and then carry on. And I'd like to say that happens just like once, but it does happen a few times, and it does get quite annoying because it bugs me. I like to see where I'm going. There are some occasions where I'll have to look behind me or I'll have to look left and right, but a vast majority of the time you need to see what's coming in front of you. Is there anything else? Oh, this isn't really a fault with the game as such, it's more a fault, well it is, but it's not like the plot or anything like that. I found it a lot harder to do the videos, even though I thought it'd be quite quick because I'm only doing the story. The story is not as long as it is in Lego Batman, there's not as many chapters, and I knew that I wasn't going to be doing it so it's 100%. So I figured I should be relatively okay with it. However, not quite how it panned out, because I would get so far in a level and I wanted to do one video, one chapter. So I would go all the way through the chapter, and then when it got to the end, then I would save the video and I would share it and I would put it on YouTube and I would keep it and I'd have it on my PlayStation ready to put onto YouTube. However, there was a couple of times where either 3/4 of the way through the level, or I think it happened about 3 times. I think one was 3/4 of the way through the level, one was straight after the halfway point, and one was about 2 seconds away from the end, where the game just froze, glitched, completely shut down. Now, ordinarily, that'd be like, oh, that's annoying, I've just done that for nothing, oh, well, I'll reboot it, replay it, and you would start right from the beginning and you would redo everything. With this, not the case. It would save a certain section of it, which is brilliant if you've got to go somewhere and you come back and you know that whereabouts you are. But with things like that, it got to the point where when I rebooted it up, I was about halfway, 3/4 of the way through the game, because it saved up to that checkpoint, but nothing before. So I had to then finish the game and then come back in to try and redo certain areas. And there was one that I did for chapter 8 where I redid that opening bit 4 times in order to try and get the entirety of the game. However, while I got that, I still missed the bit from where you landed to where you would have to go. So there'd be a bit where you'd be like, for instance, on the base, and you'd have to go fetch an android and then put the android on the ship. Then you would get into the ship and the story would continue. It's like that little bit extra to get you from point A to the continuing on the story. So every time it froze and I had to reboot it and had to replay the story level, I didn't get to do that first bit. So that, for 3 of them, will be missing, and I can't help but apologise for that. And I think if I'd have just been playing through the game, it would have only been a slight annoyance, and I probably would have been quite grateful about the fact that I wouldn't have to redo the entire level. So that's why, even though it's something that I don't like and it's been a bit of a bugbear with me, I have let it go, because I've known full well that if I was just playing this game, it wouldn't be that bad. So that's about it for what I don't like, really. I can't really think of anything else. I have really, really enjoyed this game. This has definitely been probably on par with Lego Dimensions. In fact, I think I might enjoy Lego Dimensions a smidgy bit more, mainly because of the amount of characters that you can have from all different kind of nerdy genres. But gameplay wise, I've enjoyed playing Lego Batman and Lego Dimensions just as much as I played Lego Star Wars. And up until I started playing Lego Dimensions, I would quite happily say that Lego Star Wars is the best Lego game out there for PS4. I will probably cause a massive debate over YouTube and comments about why I'm wrong and why I'm right, etc, etc, so apologies for that, but that's just my opinion. If you don't think it is, you think it's something else, go for it. So what I give it out of 10, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Not quite willing to give it that 10 out of 10 because, like I said before, there have been a couple of minor bugbears that for me isn't big enough to make it a 9 out of 10, but it's bugged me enough that I can't give it a 10 out of 10. So, you know, as I've mentioned about my little bugbears, but, you know, the things that I have enjoyed have far outweighed it. So you've still got the humour that you have all the way through. You have the little references to the film, such as Phasma saying, "Aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?" And then all of the trophies are tied in to quotes and references to all of the films. For instance, if you used the wrong droid on an access panel, you get the trophy, you unlock the trophy, not the droid you're looking for. They've been absolutely brilliant with it. The graphics is brilliant, the plot is brilliant, the characters are amazing. I've thoroughly enjoyed all of it. You know, the facial features. There's a bit where, you know, Finn is sliding down on a tightrope and you see his face screaming. There's so much detail put onto it. And I have really, really enjoyed it. That's why I can't give it anything less than a 9. I've loved playing it far too much to insult it by saying, no, you're only getting a 9.5. You're only getting a 9 or below. However, on the flip side, sometimes camera angles which will cut you out so you can't see what you're doing, you can't see what's behind you. That little extra thing of not being able to use, well, knowing full well I won't be using all of the characters because there's too many that I know better, that I'll still unlock them and I still want to get my 100%, but this has given me more of an enthusiasm to do it. Like, I want to do it rather than, oh, if I want to get 100% I have to do it. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me ramble on in another game. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. I'm not, as I've done with the others, I'm not going to do 100% because it's just going to get too manic, and I want to finish Final Fantasy 15. I've just downloaded Mobius Final Fantasy for my phone and I'm really enjoying that at the same time, so I'm contemplating doing a set of videos on that as well. There's other Lego games that I have, there's other video games that I have. I want to do Lego Dimensions as well. So I've got a really, really long list of stuff that I want to get done. So I know full well I can't do 100% on this and get everything else done. It's just not possible. Besides, there's already loads of bits and bobs for how to get 100% on things anyway. As I've said before, I only do these videos because I enjoy playing the games, and if it helps you, brilliant. If not, and you just like watching it with me, brilliant. Welcome to the crew. This is how I got into video games as much as I have, because I didn't have all of the technology that other people did. So if I wanted to play certain Final Fantasies, I couldn't. I just had to watch walkthroughs. A little bit sad, but, you know, I still did it. But there we go. I have digressed. Going back to the point, 9.5 out of 10 for this. Absolutely loved it. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!